Hey guys, and welcome to another GameXplain discussion. I'm your host, Derek Bittner, and I'm joined today by quite a few guests. First up is Ted from Brain Scratch Comms.
Hello.
Johnny from Some Call Me Johnny and Brain Scratch.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen.
And Gareth from Find the Computer Room.
I can't feel my legs.
That's because we broke them earlier. That's okay. That's why you're here.
Oh man, damn you in a food, eh?
And if it isn't obvious by now, I brought them together to talk about the latest news on Red Ash, specifically that the project has been fully funded by the Chinese company Fuse rather than the Kickstarter itself, which has left a bad taste in many fans' mouths. It's just a very odd situation, so I thought it'd be interesting to bring us all together and talk about that, despite the fact that many of us haven't even actually played Legends. In fact, other than Johnny watching Matt play the original Legends, I think I'm the only one who's actually played all the games here.
Yeah, I haven't touched Legends before. I've been watching Clement's playthroughs, if that helps.
Same here.
For anything.
Clement was supposed to be here, but he kind of forgot about it.
He's too busy playing Kirby 64.
Yeah, it's Kirby's birthday. He has to celebrate.
Damn good game. It's a damn good game.
It is it? No, it's an amazing game.
For the record, it's not. We're only here to talk about the direction of the Kickstarter and how the Kickstarter has been handled. There are some people that are probably already in the comments right now going, they're not Legends fans, they shouldn't be in a Red Dash discussion, even though we're not talking about the game itself. No. We're talking about how the Kickstarter is being handled, so I don't think there's no qualifications for that. I'm here to piss you off, and you're going to listen to it.
Exactly, because that is the thing. That's the key here. This is not so much about the game itself. The game itself there's really not much new to say about it.
Didn't they release gameplay footage using like Mighty Number 9 models?
One of the things they use to try to get more people interested in the Kickstarter itself is like a browser version, I guess, of the game, and it's like, from what I could see, it was just a simple hallway of Beck's model in 3D running back and forth, and there you go. This is how the game's going to play. Which you could have just gave him a copy of Legends, and there you go.
Is that the video where they like kick the can and it floats in the air for like 7,000 years?
Yeah, probably.
I've seen gifs of that online. It's like, wow, that looked really good. This was a PlayStation 1 game.
Such physics.
So obviously this Kickstarter has just been, let's be honest here, a mess. The fact that Mighty Number 9 wasn't out at the time of this Kickstarter going live rubbed a lot of people the wrong way, and it's obvious by the fact that this thing just has not been getting funded. We're 3 days away as of this recording from the Kickstarter being over, and it's only a little bit more than halfway to its goal, and that's just crazy. So, and they said they were right from the beginning they were going to get this funded no matter what, but didn't quite expect them to wait until now, like before the Kickstarter was even still going, in order to actually get this whole thing started.
Did they say that though? Because I remember, because last night, during when all this info was being revealed, or I made a comparison to Red Ash and Bloodstained, on how Bloodstained from the very get-go has said that the game was already being funded, and they're just using the Kickstarter to build interest, to gauge interest, is a better way of putting it. I don't remember them saying that for Red Ash, but someone corrected me in saying that, yeah, they did. They were looking for a publisher, they just couldn't find one. So the Kickstarter was used as a means, as a just-in-case insurance. But it is... But is it just me, or is it? I don't know. Does it seem like a move of desperation?
I think it comes from lack of transparency, because I think Bloodstained is a great example of a Kickstarter because it's transparent right from the get-go. Like, they said right up, we're using this to improve the game, but we have a publisher already. Whereas this, it's the fact that we're so unsure leads to the fact that Inafune has been very tight-lipped about a lot of this stuff the entire time.
Oh, sorry, I know that because I think I made like a tweet kind of mocking the Kickstarter, and like, a lot of people came back to me with Shenmue 3 did this, and I was kind of like Johnny said with that Castlevania game, which I am not too familiar with, but like Shenmue 3 from the beginning was like, you know, Sony's interested, but we want to gauge fan reaction. So if we get the 2 million, which wouldn't have been enough to fund that game, Sony would back the rest. And I think I haven't got a problem with something like that if they're upfront with you. So if from the start they're saying, you know, we kind of have a bigger backer, but they need proof that people will buy this. And so if you funded a Kickstarter, it will just, well, one, ensure the game is made, and two, just ensure that we have extra money to make the game better, rather than just, hey guys, fund our game. Oh, JK, we got a funder, but keep giving us money, please, because fuck you, I made Mega Man, give me more money.
I guess that you do bring up a good point about the whole give me more money thing, and where they're saying that the Kickstarter is now being used towards stretch goals. But 3 days away from the end of the Kickstarter, they're not saying what those stretch goals are.
Not even that. I mean, this is how Kickstarter works. If you don't meet your goal by the deadline, that money doesn't go anywhere. It's not like you get to keep that $400,000. That money goes back to the backers.
Basically, what if somebody is never watching has never funded a Kickstarter before? Basically, what happens is that when you put in your credit card information or whatever, the site has authorization to say take $20 from your account later on, but they don't actually take the money until after the campaign's over. So
yeah,
Inafune does not have a cent in his pocket right now from either of these two Kickstarters. Which, and the odd thing I think is that the extra anime one is probably more likely to get funded than the actual game, considering that the anime is at 112k out of 150, whereas the game itself has to raise about $320,000 in 3 days, which, barring a miracle, is not going to happen.
The Kickstarter has now been stated it is strictly for the stretch goals now. And it's quite clear, unless, like Ted said, a miracle happens within the next few days, someone fully funds this thing. What happens after that? You're going to open up another Kickstarter? Because that ain't going to help you at the PR for this, for Red Ash, because it's already all kinds of shady as is. Again, it's the timing, and it's just the discrete business practices that the Red Ash has been suffering from. And I just want to say, I'm happy that Legends fans are getting something. This is where I stand. I'm happy Legends fans are getting something. It's not exactly a Mega Man Legends game, but it's close enough. It's Mega Man Smedgens Tree.
Hey, you know what? If Banjo-Kazooie fans can get their Schmanjo and Castlevania fans can get their Schmashrovania, you know.
Can get erotic violence.
Oh God!
I will say though,
What is that, by the way?
It's a pachinko game.
it's my fan
It's
fiction.
a pachinko
real,
game.
Ted,
Those
that's what it
cutscenes will
is.
play while you're playing pachinko.
I'm speaking as a man who backed Mighty Number 9, and despite that game going through so many hoops, I'm still looking forward to the game coming out in September, I believe, and I'm happy that Legends fans are getting something. I just do not approve of what's been happening with Red Ash, and Mighty Number 9 for that matter.
Well, here's the thing about this isn't the first time that Inafune's tried to do this, though, because there was a second crowdfunding campaign for Mighty Number 9.
That's what I'm saying. Between two games, this man has had 4 Kickstarters. Like, I ain't a smart man, but that seems to be like double the amount of Kickstarters you should need for 2 games. You know, it just I think for the life of me I forget his name, but he insults everyone's mother and blocks people on Twitter.
Hideki Kamiya, yeah.
Somebody tweeted at him and was like, "What do you think of Inafune?" And his response was just, "He's a businessman. Like, first and foremost, he's a businessman." And so in that regard, he knows what he's doing, because he's got these 2 games funded with a lot of people's money that really probably didn't need that much. But I mean, it's just like it's. I think when Johnny earlier said it's shady, I think that best sums up. There's so much Kickstarters for these projects, and the fact that he's trying to get a second game made before the first one's even released, to me, is kind of a massive red flag. It just feels to me, it's just that I'm not sure if taking advantage would be the right word, because these are games that, again, as Johnny said, they're not exactly a new Mega Man or Mega Man Legends games, but they're games that obviously fans have wanted. You know, that they're spiritual successes in the same vein as, you know, Ukulele and the off-brand Castlevania, and I'm sure there'd be like Freedom Planet. You know, was a Sonic the Hedgehog kind of inspirational game. It just seems to me that he's milking on that nostalgia too much, just to kind of make his Okay, this is going to sound dopey because obviously he's going to try and make the production of his game as easy as possible as anyone could. But to me, it kind of just feels like he's kind of slightly taking advantage of his known fan base just to try and get as much money as possible. Which again, if this was say a bunch of people not related to Mega Man whatsoever, I don't think anyone would stand for it. It's just the fact that because it is coming from Inafune himself, so I think some people have just been slightly more lenient. Where again, I'm like, if Yuji Naka did this, but it was like, we're gonna make Fasty the Spike Man and make like 6 games before one was even released, I'd kind of be like, no, that's a bad Yuji Naka. Go back to buying Ferraris and knock that shit out.
The best way I can sum it up is I've never seen anyone blow goodwill so quickly. There is a stark difference between people's opinions of Inafune in 2013 and Inafune now. And I am shocked by it. The thing is, I'm like Johnny. I backed Mighty Number 9. I'm still relatively excited for it. I got to try it out at E3, and the game was fun. I need to play more of it to get a better idea, but it was surprisingly challenging. I had a lot of fun. There's elements there that seems like it's going to be at least a pretty good game. Red Ash, I'm a huge fan of the Legend series. It's my favorite of the Mega Man series, and I'll check out Red Ash now that it's being funded. I never pledged to it because I don't know. I always wait a little while on Kickstarters, usually towards the end of the campaign. That way I don't have to go through the rigmarole of I put money in, now it's coming back, and I like to know where my money's at all times.
Yeah.
So that's always why I always sort of wait till the end of Kickstarters, even though I would get the money back. But it just strikes me as so odd the way he's going about this, and let's actually, you know what? Let's talk about Fuse, because this is the company that's funding Inafune, and it's a Chinese company. This is a Chinese company that's supposed to be making consoles, and if you even take a glance at their website, holy crap! What are these people on?
Wait, hold on, Fuse. Is that the website where it said something to the effect of "This is for real games, not any of those mobile things"?
Yeah.
Is that where that picture?
Yeah.
That's where that picture came from. Oh god.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah, that wasn't a. Yeah, it's like Lewis tweeted that last night, and it's legit. But I responded. It's borderline parody with just their mottos that they're going with. Mm-hmm. But unfortunately, the website's down right now. I can't get access to it unless they're using they changed the URL at the last minute. But it's one of those, you have to see it to believe it. There are grammatical errors up the wazoo. It is just ridiculous, and I'm not gonna let the entire website speak for the gaming company itself. Maybe they just have a really shitty web designer. But again, it's the whole unsure feeling of everything. Mm. Yeah, it's like how much you can bank on being unsure just depends on how much faith you have in Inafune. And right now, I don't have much. After Mighty Number 9, and I hope to God Mighty Number 9 is a great game, because if it's not, that's going to be really bad for him. Mm. And things are already sort of, teetering off the brink, because after last night, when it was announced that the game was going to be published regardless because they got the funding, the Kickstarter lost some of its money.
Oh, it lost money?
Yeah, because some backers pulled out. It was well, hold on. He's like, you don't need this anymore. Yeah, it's like, I think the backers that just wanted the main game just pulled out of it because it's not good. I guess they need that money now. That's what it is. The game's going to come out anyway, so let me just take out the money now, so I'll just buy it when it gets publicized. Mm-hmm. So yeah, it's just not looking good. It just in terms of PR for Red Ash, and again, happy the game's coming out for Legends fans. I'm just squinting at this thing with both eyes. It's like, no.
It's weird, too, because so many of these things that are causing all of this confusion and this uneasiness could have been avoided pretty easily. For example, the fact that this game is coming out, this Kickstarter started before Mighty Number 9 came out. Mighty Number 9 is a month away. They easily could have waited on this. I have a feeling, Mm-hmm. It's not like there was any... this game isn't coming out any until next year at the very earliest. There isn't any. They could have waited until the game came out or celebrated the launch of Mighty Number 9 with the start of another Kickstarter, which, I guess I would have bought because, our new game's out. This is what we're working on next. Go fund it. I guess it might work, maybe. I don't know. The fact that they could have waited until later for the anime to get published or whatnot. It seems like a lot of these decisions is just a result of bad planning more than anything else. It's just odd too because Mighty Number 9, when that first came out, that was one of the most successful Kickstarters at the time. I believe it's been surpassed since, but it was basically, I think, the game to really popularize Kickstarter as a platform for making independent games. And I love Kickstarter, for the record. I love a lot of games that I'm really excited for were funded through Kickstarter. Shovel Knight was funded through Kickstarter. That's an amazing game. Shantae Half Genie Hero is being funded through Kickstarter. There's a dozen other great-looking games that I've personally pledged to that are being developed through Kickstarter, and that's great, but there has always kind of been this sort of stigma with a lot of people that Kickstarter is just one giant scam. And ironically enough, for a really long time, Mighty Number 9 was one of the only quote-unquote only good Kickstarters. So the fact that this is happening now and that so much faith in the model itself is being lost, I have a bad feeling that other game developers who might who are actually doing stuff up front and honestly are going to lose money because Inafune decided to get greedy, and that just makes me sad.
The whole thing with Inafune, it's sort of been apparent for a while because, we talked about that second Kickstarter for funding and whatnot, how Kamiya said he's more of a businessman, which honestly makes sense when you look at his decisions because he had the Mighty Number 9 Kickstarter. It was super successful. Everybody was behind him. And then all of a sudden he started announcing deal after deal after deal for animes, live action movies, just all this stuff. Like, the game hasn't been out yet and he believes that this thing is as big as Mega Man. And everybody's like, wait a second, this hasn't been proven yet.
Yeah, everything, merchandising, film rights, the breakfast cereals, all of that, that's proved after the game is out and is sold and it does well, not as it's being created, because you're, how much are you banking on good faith?
Johnny, you have just made me realize that Ken Penders is the Inafune of comic books, because he keeps producing merchandise for his freaking Laura Sue spin-off, and there's not a fucking book out yet, but all he talks about is like merchandise and movie deals and apps. It's like, release the fucking book, you idiot.
I'm gonna play devil's advocate for just a moment. You guys do have to realize that that's where a lot of money in this kind of stuff is made. Like,
Yeah, and Spaceballs makes fun of that. Merchandising, where the real money from the movie's made.
Yeah, but Ted, normally with something like this, merchandise will work, but the product has to be there first. I mean, like with new IPs, there won't be that much merchandise until the product's out. Obviously, like when say like there's a new like Mario game or like a Batman movie, Nintendo, Warner Brothers can bank on merchandise selling. Not so much with a brand new character who, while he's based and created by a much beloved icon, that's no guarantee that this one will work. So I think they kind of put in too many eggs in one basket, before they know if it'll pay off.
Yeah, no, I totally understand that they in order for anybody to buy a Beck action figure, people have to care about Beck the character, which happens by them actually playing Mighty Number 9.
Yeah.
It's just, I get the mindset, but I think that they're putting the cart before the horse is the problem. I get that, Inafune wants to make money, who doesn't? But you have to start small. I think, the fact that the Kickstarter went so far and above anybody's expectations has given Inafune the idea that Beck and Mighty Number 9 is Mega Man, when you still have to prove yourself to everybody else and not just the people who gave you money for your Kickstarter.
Yeah. And again, it's amazing how much transparency can help a game, because even just today, Playtonic just announced a deal with Team 17 to publish Yooka-Laylee. And they were upfront and said, this is all because we want them to handle the business side of things that gives us more time to focus on the game. They had a nice long post about saying why they were doing this, what led to this decision, and how this helps the game. And we don't really get much of that. It's just sort of always coming soon, find out soon, and we're always left wanting.
I actually want to bring up Playtonic with Ukulele. They did from the beginning when they showed you what the money would go towards. They were like one of the only. I mean, I haven't followed every Kickstarter, but they literally showed you everything. Like they even put in things like taxes. Which really kind of helps the fans feel more inclusive because they know exactly where everything's going, as opposed to again Inafune with Red Ash, where they're like, your money's gonna go towards stuff, but we can't quite say what stuff it is yet. Just trust us, it's stuff. It kind of just helps you. It kind of helps you want to donate more when you know exactly where all of your money's going, rather than just going to go buy more blow for Inafune.
Yeah, Playtonic and Ukulele, I think, is one of the best examples of how to do a Kickstarter recently, because they did so many things right with that campaign. They started off they showed gameplay footage, even though it was a very early beta, right from the get-go. That's so important. We didn't, again, when you compare like the Ukulele beta footage and what we've seen of Red Ash, it's night and day. They had a pie chart detailingly listing what percentage of the money goes where. They're being very transparent about what they want to do with the money, and they specifically said that they didn't want to have stretch goal bloat, which is something huge that happens with Kickstarters all the time, and it's a major reason why Kickstarter delays are so common. I think it's like 70% of all Kickstarter games get delayed, and you can understand that when you end up with $500,000 when you ask for $250, and suddenly you have to promise 6 extra modes that you didn't initially plan for in your timetable.
Yeah, you might as well just make one of the stretch goals the sequel. Like with how long it takes some of these games to be developed.
Yep. It does, but it also makes you nervous. Like, if this could happen to something as promising as Mighty Number 9, it does create a fear. It's like, could this happen to... You don't want it to see it happen, but could this happen to Bloodstain? Could this happen to Ukulele? Could this happen to whatever else you're looking forward to? It does create this fear, which affects the entire Kickstarter community, and I have to imagine they really don't appreciate that.
No, they will not. And again, if Mighty Number 9... and God forbid Red Ash suffer, if they are not at the very least adequate games, this is just not going to spell good news for even the games that people are really looking forward to. Like personally, I'm looking forward like nothing else to Bloodstain. Like I cannot wait. I know there are a shitload of people that are looking forward to Ukulele, but then these two games that preceded them don't do well, and then people they'll start saying, Kickstarter's dead, you shouldn't support that, what are you, a f***ing dweeb? It's like, you should put that money towards a trust fund for your kids in college. And I was like, fuck you.
Bloodstain doesn't have erotic violence.
DLC.
Yeah.
And it's just a shame, too. It's such a shame, too, because there are games that have been funded on Kickstarter that turned out being pretty good. Again, I will point everyone in the direction of Shovel Knight, which was an amazing game, like one of the best I've played in years, and that was funded through Kickstarter. It wouldn't have happened without people's money. And
as you said before, Freedom Planet, I am so looking forward to playing that on the Wii U, because after seeing Johnny's, how good it is on PC. My PC isn't good enough to run it. That's why the Wii U version I'm really excited for that. Yeah. And there's so many more examples about good Kickstarter projects that are there, but that it only takes that one big blight to kind of ruin that.
Yeah, and it's not looking, again, I just real hope Mighty Number 9 is good, and I hope for all the Legends fans anyway that Red Ash is good. Red Ash is what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of weird. I don't think Red Ash hit the same kind of I need this spot that the people who wanted a classic Mega Man back in 2013 got.
Well, let's be real here. And I think I can get away with saying this. The Legends fan base is a little more niche than classic Mega Man.
Yes, that you are completely right in that, and it's a shame, but it is very niche, and I say that as a fan.
And I don't mean to be derogatory when I say that.
No, of
I'm
course
just
not.
stating real simple statistics here. The Legends base is not as big as Classic. They're definitely more vocal. I will give them that. But yeah, it's just from the get-go, it's not going to have the same pool as what Mighty Number 9 wanted to do, because Legends from the start didn't have that much of a fan base until way later.
I think Clement hit something excellent on the first time we were discussing Red Ash, and that's how Legends fans want Legends 3. Mega Man fans just want a game like Mega Man, and that's why Mighty Number 9 was so popular, because it was hitting that Mega Man itch. With Legends, we want to see Mega Man get off the moon. That's our whole goal. We want to see how this damn story ends. And we don't get that with Red Ash. Now, we'll get the same type of gameplay, but...
Mega Man's on the moon?
In Legends 2, yes. That's why it's such a cliffhanger, and that's why people wanted Legends 3 so much, because they had a hell of a cliffhanger ending. And, there's just this need to see how that game ends, but when you get that same sort of gameplay, you'll enjoy the gameplay and stuff. But most fans I know that I talk to, it's the story and the characters they care about, and you're not getting that quite exactly with Red Ash, and I think that's affecting the Kickstarter as well. So, anyway, guys, any final thoughts on this whole Red Ash Kickstarter thingamajig?
I'd just say don't let Inafune being adult deter you from looking, at least giving a fair shake to other Kickstarters that pop up that look promising. I will say that. Again, Kickstarter, it's not like you're pre-ordering a game. It is more like you're investing in something. And that's, part of kind of the point of the platform. So, the thing I always do with Kickstarters is I look at the people who are making it, and I see if these people are trustworthy. And, a lot of the times they are, the people who made Banjo-Kazooie. I think they're trustworthy. Way Forward, I think they're trustworthy. It's just a shame that Keiji Inafune, who was, when Mighty Number 9 came out, someone who we thought was trustworthy, now kind of doesn't seem as worthy of that trust. That's just a shame. But just because Inafune's making really kind of dumb decisions, don't take that out on the rest of the Kickstarter projects out there.
Yeah, pretty much what Ted said.
What about you, Gareth?
I'll kind of mimic what Johnny said to start with. I think it's great for fans of the Legend franchise that they'll finally get a kind of spiritual successor. I'm a big believer in kind of when you're accepting money from someone and being up front of them as possible. That's why, for full disclosure, I have not donated to Mighty Number 9 or Red Ash, because I would, in terms of both of these games, I'd rather just wait for it's a game where I'd play it, but I don't care if it doesn't get made, if that makes sense. I'll happily just wait for it to be eventually released. But I just feel like Inafune's kind of taking advantage of people, and it's a shame because he's creative. One of my favorite, big hand in one of my favorite franchises of all time. I love classic Mega Man. I love those games so much, and just it's a shame that kind of my view of him has been slightly tarnished by just his shady practices with these Kickstarters. It's a shame, lads. I don't like it. Why? Why would you do this?
there, Gareth. My whole thought is I'm still hopeful for Mighty Number 9. I will still play Red Ash when it comes out. It's just everything surrounding these games that it gives me pause. But I still want to check these games out. Hopefully we'll be proven wrong. Who knows? Maybe they'll turn out fantastic. And you know what? I'll eat my words and say that. But as of right now, it's hard to earn that trust because it just seems everything's not going the way the way we thought they would, and that's odd. I don't know. It's just odd to say, but we'll see. It's not too long until Mighty Number 9 comes out, and so we'll finally get to see what this whole thing is made of, I guess. But all right, guys, I think that covers it for our Red Ash discussion. So thank you guys for watching, and if you like this video, be sure to like us on Facebook and Twitter at GameXplain. And Ted, where can they find you at?
You can find both me and John at Brain Scratch Cons, where we do a number of different commentaries on different things, including some Mega Man. Oh boy!
Johnny, you have more than Brain Scratch, obviously. Not meant that way.
Yes, I do. In fact, I will plug my review channel. Some call me Johnny. I review all sorts of games. I'm just finishing up Indie Showcase, which has gone a little longer than I wanted it to, but I'm happy because I get to experiment with a lot of other crap. And so far, it's been pretty good. You can find me there. Some call me Johnny.
And Gareth?
You can find me standing behind you.
Ah!
Oh, no, I'm joking.
Don't
you can
do
find
that,
me-
Gareth.
You can find me if you have completely no self-respect. You can find me at Find the Computer Room on the YouTubes. Don't go. It's terrible. It's a terrible channel. Don't do it. Don't do it.
And you guys are all part of a charity project that's coming up very soon, correct?
Yes, we are. We are
Yes.
starting August 2nd to the 17th. We are participating in the Nintendo-thon, where we're pretty much from starting at 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every day until the 17th. We are playing a bunch of Nintendo games to raise money for Mind. It's a charitable organization dedicated to helping those in need with mental health issues and the like. And last year we did something similar with the Sonic-a-thon. We raised over $20,000, so we're hoping to make as much, if not more, than with this marathon. So if you got the time and money to spare, we appreciate it if you head over to Hellfire Com's official Twitch page at twitch.tv/HellfireComs, and just be on the lookout for a lot of that, because we're going to plug the shit out of that thing when we get closer to making that date happen. So yeah, if you have the time and money, please stop by over there.
Definitely do so. And of course, stay tuned to GameXplain for more on Red Ash, maybe, and other things gaming too. Until next time, guys. Bye.